This project actually started quite a few years ago. So when Oliver first approached ArtsCQ, he expressed a desire to start up some training for young actors in the region. And so this has been, I know, a brainchild of his for a very long time. And through a combination of luck and strategic planning, ArtsCQ was able to help him apply for funding and to actually secure some funding so that we were able to develop this training program. And as a result of the training program, Oliver was working with a lot of young people from the Rockhampton region, getting them to think about the key dramatic question, which is, do young people have a voice in this community? And they explored that through physical theatre training methods, through some devising work, and were able to come up with not only a thesis in response to that question, but also a bit of a performance response to the question. And then the pieces kind of started to fall together as this needs to be a theatre work.
So the whole idea about training first and then going into this was that there's something about developing an awareness of our bodies and how we view them and how we use them in time and space that leads to more confident choices that you can make as actors, and more confidence that I have in you as actors, as a director, that I can go, you have an understanding and we have a shared vocabulary that we can use to create something that that we all have experienced and know what we want to create. Even if we don't know exactly what it is, we have this sort of shared drive and shared goals. So I think we've just ticked that off as success for this project, which I'm really glad for.
And I just want to chime in quickly as well, like, for somebody like me who has no theatre experience, like, the ability for all of us to dumb it down to my speed most of the time was very appreciative. Like, he would notice that, like, he would say something to everybody else and everybody's like, yeah, and I'm saying.
We again secured funding so that we were able to mount the production, and then of course COVID happened. And so this is the project that started in 2019 and then was extended and extended and extended. But I think it was actually really helpful because that additional gestational age, so to speak, allowed them to really refine their ideas. They were able to bring on board young playwright Charlotte Graham and to synthesise her script-based work with their physical theatre devised work they'd already developed.
How I got involved in this particular project is through purely by luck. As I continued to work on drama, I joined a group called Young Playwrights Club at school, and I was very lucky to have a teacher that's really passionate about the arts and drama, and happens to have a lot of connections. So through knowing people, I was able to get a chance to share my work in their work.
Cool. And are you looking forward to seeing your work translated into a performance?
Very much so. The only works that I've created that I've seen are little improvised things that I've done in the classroom, so it'll be really cool to see something a bit larger scale.
And then the pivot to film, where we were able to get Blue Eagle Productions on board, meant that we were able to come up with a really cool kind of synthesis of different art forms in this one project. So yeah.
I think it's a testament to ArtsCQ Incorporated and the people there, Mark Spence and Jess Lamb especially, that they helped to support and modify this program so it was safe in the challenging times of late 2020 and early 2021. But at the same time, when different things happened, we were able to modify and quickly change, and especially for our crew, Blue Eagle Productions, who were able to modify a live theatrical performance to a film. So really want to thank you guys and Blue Eagle Productions, because we wouldn't be able to do this if you weren't here to help us with that. So thank you so much.
So we came on board the project in about November of 2021. Got a call from Mark Swenson asking if we'd like to come on board. And so we had a meeting with Mark, Jess and Oliver. Now, initially it was going to be a stage production, so Elizabeth was going to stage manage it and I was going to be the videographer, so I was just going to get some behind the scenes footage and record the show itself. Then in the middle of January, about 3 weeks before we started, I got a call from Jess asking if we could have a quick meeting, and she told me that the decision was made that we were going to turn it into a film. So that didn't leave us a lot of time to prepare.
Initially, I was basically filling my pants. But I sort of see it now as a real opportunity to... so there's a couple of choices that we could have made for filming. We could have just had a camera stand and do the performance straight through live, like a theatrical production. I've seen productions like that, and there's something that is lost in that sort of single camera looking at the stage. Human beings don't look at the stage like that. It's a 3D living beast. And so coming into it and talking to you guys about making it this sort of hybrid theatre film, I think is really important, because it talks to the sensibilities of what an audience in a theatre will experience. It's not a one-to-one translation, but in the processes that we've gone through, we've tried to give that experience to a film audience that a similar sort of taste of what a live audience would have experienced when they went through this project. It is similar, but it's also completely different because of the beast that it is. But I think we collectively created something that used both elements so well that it turns into something that is really I think it's going to be really entertaining to watch, but I'm also interested in about the themes and the ideas that have come out from this and what the public will take from it.
I was really interested to see how it would, how theatre would translate to film, because I've never done anything film before. It's always been like, on the stage, exit stage left, go behind these curtains, and but Oliver had us still perform very theatrically, so we were still sort of in our element, but adapted. We weren't really so much thrown into the deep end. We were thrown into the deep end, but with floaties. Yes! No, wait.
Where were my floaties?
Wait. We were thrown into the deep end after being taught how to swim.
So at the meeting, we didn't have anyone to do set design or construction at the time. So Elizabeth and I were sort of putting our heads together, thinking about how we can make especially the museum scene work. Thankfully, later on, they brought in Alicia and Courtney to design the set and do the bulk of the set construction, which was really awesome. They did a fantastic job.
So I'm more of a 2D artist, and so is Courtney, so working in 3D was a bit of a new challenge.
I've only ever really done illustration work. Oh yeah, it took us about 3 weeks to get all of the stuff together.
And that would have been including concept images and then getting materials and things like that.
Being a film, we decided in the museum scenes that there were a couple of things we could do with some visual effects rather than have to have Alicia and Courtney build those. So that made their life a lot easier because there wasn't a lot of time to get this stuff done.
We're doing a production meeting to figure out the final bump-in stages of Look at Me When I Talk to You, which is quite exciting. It'll be more exciting when everyone gets here.
We shot it over 6 days. First day we bumped in, we got the set constructed, everything organised during the day, and then the cast came in about 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and we shot through till about 8 o'clock. And the other shooting nights were from 4 till 9. The reason for the later shoot was the PCYC is a great location, but it's very open. There's a lot of skylights, so we had a lot of light coming in, so we wanted to make it dark so we could use our own lights to control what was happening. So that that meant we had to delay and shoot in the evenings.
The actors for this project were recruited from a number of different places. ArtCQ initially put a call out through Headspace in Rockhampton, and then we also went through PCYC Rockhampton, a number of schools in Rockhampton as well, just looking for youth participants who were not necessarily experienced in theatre, but had an interest in performance, had an interest in exploring that dramatic question of, do young people have a voice? And then we had additional participants come on board as trainers. So Oliver was the key physical theatre trainer for this project, obviously, but he wanted to use this as an opportunity to upskill other young adult performers so that they were able to pass that training technique on as well. So through that process, we came across Ro, who is in the production, Grace, who was a part of the training process and then went and joined the circus, which is also a very cool outcome, and Christopher, who is also in the production. So we brought together these trainers from a number of different places. I know that Ro and Grace both have performance experience, but Christopher is actually new to theatre himself and was able to kind of learn while teaching. So yeah, it was quite cool.
You mean the fact that I was cornered in a toilet with two women behind me touching me and I was trying to eat noodles that was actually custard?
I promise that isn't what it sounds like. You're right to come through.
Or are you talking about the scene where Rochelle decided that it was good to shove custard fingers down my throat?
Sorry.
Like, I enjoyed them both quite a lot. I mean, they were grotesque and disgusting. I never want to do them again.
It's good that you've managed to catch him after he's finally stopped crying.
I would do this 1,000 times over again. Like, working with Ollie is like, just, it's made me realize like how much you can never stop learning from something. Like, I worked with Ollie when I was like 9 years old, and it had, the play we did had a similar concept where we were being characters, playing characters, and I just never understood that. And I was a 9-year-old, but also like, I just didn't get that concept whatsoever, but now I'm like, oh, I understand that. That makes so much more sense now, and yeah, you just keep learning from everything.
It is just Oliver. That's the only answer.
Ow.
As a mentor, like I feel like he's my mentor now.
Okay.
I've been through a few. I ripped through drama teachers.
Drama teachers, beware. That's possible?
No, I love many of my teachers. I've been very fortunate to have a range of very skilled and lovely teachers. You know, and while some of them I've stuck with for years and I've kept doing things over and over, beginning with Oliver was phenomenal because it just pushed me and challenged me in ways that I never considered and I don't think ever would have been exposed to. Here in Rockhampton, there's this small town mentality, and Oliver bringing in all of these new theatre techniques that I hadn't encountered in my very classical stage, you know, speech and drama training was so amazing.
Hayden has moved.
When we were at Headspace, halfway through, like at the start I was just like, nah, don't love this. And then I figured out that we could have Milo for free. I always think, nah, it's not going to be fun. And I think it's just going to be boring acting where we just stand around and read words, and if we have to move around it'll be like we have to move from here to here. But it wasn't like that. So afterwards it was just like, oh, this was different, I enjoyed it. So yeah, it was nice to go in and have friends there and family that were just like, okay, we're doing this, and if I was being annoying, they would pull me up, they'd be like, stop.
The conditions when we were filming were very challenging. It was extremely hot and humid over the whole, I'd like to think the whole 6 days. I think there might have been one night where it was reasonable, but...
Quick. Give me your gross sweaty rags.
Ew. This is my job.
It was very draining, but it was awesome. The cast were amazing. They did a fantastic job. Oliver knew exactly what he wanted, so yeah, I did my best to make sure that happened.
So we're up to day 4 on this particular shoot. It's going pretty well so far. It's been stinking bloody hot, but everything's gone really to plan. The cast and crew have done really well, and we're lucky to have Hayley back again because we missed her the last couple of nights. So yeah, I'm really quite I'm really quite pleased that we're on our way. And here comes Jess. How are you feeling, Jess?
A bit warm.
That's not what you said before.
I said something to the equivalent of a bit warm. My language may have been marginally more colourful, but the intent was the same.
So Jess, tell us what happened to the key yesterday.
It went walkabout.
Where'd it go?
Who can say? These things happen, and mistakes were made.
And
Some people didn't look very carefully when asked if they had taken the key with them to Nando's.
And what did the rest of us do while you were at Nando's?
I didn't say I was at Nando's, I said someone was at Nando's.
sorry.
While the person in question was at Nando's, I have heard that everyone else was very thirsty and very hot and really...
And tore the place apart looking for the key.
Yeah, I heard that too.
I think that is also one of the things that I think we've ticked off as a goal, is the idea of developing not just the product of like creating actors and putting on production, but also developing a culture that is positive and supportive of everyone. And I hope that everyone here, from people in front of the camera, behind the camera, and anybody who's had a connection to this project, that they feel like that their voices have been heard, that they are, that they feel like they can share their opinion and be on.
We're laughing at me because share your opinion. I don't struggle to share my opinion. I'm going pretty well. I think I'm doing really great. No, come back. I think I'm doing pretty great. Like, this has been a great day. I'm having a lot of fun. I had somebody shove their fingers down my mouth.
Don't tell people!
There you go.
I'm doing absolutely excellent. I mean, why wouldn't I be? It's only like 35 degrees.
And 95% humidity.
But that we strive to create a community that is for each other, not just for the goal. That it has that meta goal of creating something that hopefully will exist beyond it, even if it's just in the individuals and how they go out and to do the work continuing on, or in this company, in this group that has just started out. Hopefully we can continue to develop that positive ideas and mentality.
For me, whether it's like, I'm not entirely sure if I'll pursue this again. Like, I have a lot of things on, so it's not something that I'm thinking about at the moment, but for me, it's less about pursuing this again, but more about pursuing the connections that I've made doing this. Like, if Oliver ever hits me up for work again, like, hey, I need some help, like, I'm always down to help him out. Like, anybody else that I've been part of the production with here, like, for me, it's less about will I do theatre again and more about the connections that I've made here and exploring those connections with people, going out of my comfort zone, doing other things with that and everything like that.
Sure. When I was initially starting and we were doing stuff at the rehearsal, like the little meeting room at Headspace, and it was just a few of us with Oliver, we were doing a lot of activities about being leaders in situations and being followers in situations. So we would have different activities where we would have to take orders from other people, and then we would have to give orders to people, and then we would have to lead the group. And I have had a lot of issues with confidence, and I've been in a lot of toxic environments in the theatre world, and I've kind of been used to just kind of sitting down and being quiet and just letting everybody else do their thing a lot of the time. And Oliver really pushed me out of my comfort zone, not in a bad way, but he made me do a lot of activities that I never saw myself doing, and put me in a lot of environments and situations where I had to push myself and had to make myself more extroverted and more out there and lead the group in different situations. So that was a really big challenge for me, but I think I overcame it and I'm really happy that I'm here.
I think that this production is the right amount of confronting to grab attention, but also the right amount of honest to really have people hold on to it. It's confronting, like, because of how honest it is. Like, the title is really good, Words Left Unsaid. Reading it the first time was confronting. Performing it was confronting, and I hope everyone watching it is confronted.
And that it leads to understanding as well, because that's the other thing. Adults are going to see this. It's not. It's for young people, but it's also for adults to help this understanding, to help this generational dissonance sort of mend, because you know, they probably felt the same way when they were younger. And we don't want adults looking at this and thinking it's just another excuse, it's just another escape mechanism. This is our hearts and our thoughts.
This is
just
our,
on the
this
line.
is our feelings,
It's
emotions.
exposed.
The fact that so
It's
many people
exposed.
relate to it just shows that it's like a global thing that everyone can
It's
understand.
not just like something that like just a few of the people in the cast feel, it's something that I think every teenager feels.